Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel where today we're going to be doing my week 17 power rankings. I know this video is a couple of days later than it normally is, and we've had 3 games go by since week 17 has started, but I still want to get this out here for you guys. Power rankings is one of my favorite things to do, discuss all 32 NFL teams. And yes, the 3 games I've already played will affect the power rankings here as well. So before we get started, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And let's get going with our tiers as usual. Our Super Bowl contenders, division teams, wild card, meh, and bad. And so we got with the Arizona Cardinals here, who I'm going to put down here in the meh tier. They are officially eliminated from the playoffs with their loss in overtime to the Carolina Panthers. And that was just disappointing. The defense's lack of talent really kind of showed up and cost them that victory. I mean, Bryce Young looked really, really good against them. Chuba Hubbard looked really, really good against them. And although Kyler did try his best to will this team to victory, just wasn't able to happen. And so, yeah, they are in meh tier for me because they are just kind of a 500 team meh. Next up, we have the Atlanta Falcons, who are going into wild card for me. Even though they are winning their division, they beat up the Giants with Michael Penix Jr. We don't really know what this team is like at the moment. They got a tough challenge coming up here against Washington. And either team from the NFC South is going to be a meh team because it's a wild card team, because I just don't see it. I don't see it at all for either one of them. Atlanta, I think, is a very bad team that is getting lucky because they have a tiebreaker over Tampa Bay. So, yeah, wild card for Atlanta. And moving up here to Super Bowl contender is the Baltimore Ravens, after beating the Steelers in a pretty close matchup to the fourth quarter to take control of the division and absolutely stomping on the Houston Texans. I gotta put them in Super Bowl tier. This team is hitting their strides right now. Lamar Jackson is playing like an MVP level guy he is. Derrick Henry has been absolutely incredible for this team. This defense has been playing a heck of a lot better these past few weeks. And yeah, no, it's definitely a Super Bowl team for Baltimore. Next up, we got the Buffalo Bills, who I still have here in Super Bowl tier, but it was kind of concerning how sluggish they were against the New England Patriots, especially how Josh Allen played there. Still able to get the win because the Patriots have no talent besides Drake May, but a little concerning how they won that game, but still, they are a Super Bowl tier for me. Carolina, I'm going to put here in bad, but they're definitely going to be in the top end of bad because this team has been playing some really darn good football of late. Just some games haven't come down for them, but they finally got a win against the Arizona Cardinals. Chuba Hubbard was running like a madman. Bryce Young has given you guys hope that he could be a solid starting quarterback again after he spent the first overall pick on him. And so, yeah, Panthers, bad, but they're a fun bad. But opposite of a fun bad is the Chicago Bears, who have now lost 10 straight games. They're 4-12, only scored 3 points on Thursday Night Football. Caleb Williams looks completely lost out there. Yes, the O-line is not great, but he has weapons. He's the number 1 overall pick. He's supposed to be better than what he's showing. And the one concern I had for him coming out of college was his ability to get the ball out quick. He holds on to the ball too long and tries to make something out of nothing when nothing is there, and just ends up taking sacks, throwing bad passes, incompletions. And that is very, very concerning what is happening with Caleb Williams this year, because if his confidence is shot, I don't know how he will come back from this, because confidence is a key to everything for a young quarterback. And right now, they just don't have it. They don't. So the Bears are definitely a very bad team, and yeah, bad. Going up here to wild card tier, as they still have a shot of getting in, is the Cincinnati Bengals, coming off of a win against the Cleveland Browns, in which they really just controlled the game the entire way. I mean, the Browns stood no chance at all in winning that. And Joe Burrow, if the record was better for the Bengals, probably would be MVP with the way that he's been playing. But the Bengals are outside looking in the playoffs. They have a key game against the Denver Broncos here coming up in Week 17. And basically, they need to win this game to keep the playoff hopes alive. If they lose, they are out. But knowing this offense, they definitely can do that. So, yeah, definitely up there in wild card for me for Cincinnati. Next up, we got the Cleveland Browns. Yeah, I liked them better when they had Jameis Winston starting quarterback. They at least were competitive. They at least scored points. they at least just had a semblance of an offense, even though he did throw interceptions, because DTR is just not it, man. I watched that game with my in-laws, and man, that offense was terrible without DTR, without Jameis and DTR in. So, yeah, Cleveland needs a quarterback. They need a quarterback. So, yeah, Cleveland, bad. Dallas, though, definitely in the meh tier. They've been playing with some pride here these past couple of weeks. Maybe even saving Mike McCarthy's job, but definitely not helping their draft position, but able to take away a victory. Kind of playing spoiler against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Costing them potentially division with that victory there. Sad news is CeeDee Lamb is out for the next 2 weeks for an injury that he suffered. Might as well protect one of your best players there. But yeah, no, Dallas has been impressive. I thought they would just fold up and die with Cooper Russian, but Cooper's been playing some good football, and overall, Dallas is playing some solid football now that Micah Parsons is back. So, Met tier. In wildcard tier is Denver. Big matchup this week against the Cincinnati Bengals. They lost to another wildcard team in LA in a close loss. But I wonder if Denver might slip out potentially depending on how things shape up here. So, yeah, Denver definitely in wildcard tier. Playing some very solid football. One of the more surprising teams of the year, but definitely going to be a one and done in the playoffs, I think, especially heading on the road. Next up, Detroit. Still a Super Bowl contender for me. Who did they play? I don't remember who they played. Kind of concerning. But either way, they won this week. It'll come back to me eventually. I know it will. Gosh, who did they play? My mind is blanking, but still, one of the best teams in football. The injuries are definitely concerning, though, especially get deeper into the playoffs. They got a match this week against San Fran, and I think they should be able to win that game and probably lock up the number 1 seed. But yeah, no, definitely Super Bowl contender for Detroit. Green Bay, I'm still having in division, even after the back-to-back dominant performances, just because the path is just so intense for them as they're third in their division. But Green Bay is definitely firing on all cylinders right now. Defense has been playing fantastic. The pass rush has been getting home these past couple of weeks. Offense has just been perfectly balanced with the run game and pass game complementing each other very, very well. No one wants to play the Packers right now. They got a huge matchup against the Minnesota Vikings that could potentially determine if they're the 5th, 6th, or 7th seed for Green Bay. So, yeah, very much alive for a really good playoff seed for Green Bay. So, they're playing some really good football. A team I'm dropping down to wild card because I think this team is going to be one and done is Houston. That was just absolutely pathetic against the Baltimore Ravens. Pathetic. Scoring 2 points on a safety on Derrick Henry. That's it. C.J. Stroud has looked awful these past few weeks. His offense as a whole has been awful. Offensive line, awful. Defense, awful. They're lucky they beat the Colts twice earlier in the year because it's just not possible to be this bad as a division winner. They are definitely going to be one and done. Probably going to lose to L.A. And it's just pitiful what they're doing now at the end of the year. Next up, we got Indianapolis. Still technically alive. Got a close win against the Titans. Doubt they're going to make the playoffs. Probably going to be eliminated this week. I will not be surprised. But still technically alive. Jonathan Taylor had an amazing game on Sunday. Had over 200 yards, 3 rushing touchdowns, and really played a really good football game. So, Colts up there in wild card. Bad, we got Jacksonville. I mean, what else is there to say about Jaguars at this point? They're gunning for a top 3 pick. Don't know what they're going to do there, but Trevor Lawrence is injured. Mac Jones has been playing. Doug Peterson is going to get fired. His organization as a whole just needs to reset. So, yeah, Jaguars, bad. Oh, you were just inevitable, weren't you? These past couple of weeks, Kansas City Chiefs look like the Kansas City Chiefs again. Absolutely dominant performance against the Pittsburgh Steelers on Christmas Day. And it's like, of course, they had to finally shape up and be good these past couple of weeks. Why couldn't we just have them be bad and lose a couple of games? And most likely would be Kansas City in the Super Bowl. We'll not be surprised at that at all because the NFL hates us. But yeah, no, Chiefs are definitely up there. They are definitely up there now in the Super Bowl tier. I have them number 1 this week. I do. Because the way they've been playing, they are the best team in football. So, up there, Super Bowl tier. Next up, we got the LA Chargers, who I'm still having here in wildcard tier. Impressive win against Denver. Really impressive win against Denver to really pull ahead for that 6th seed. Potentially could even get the 5th seed depending on how Pittsburgh does. But yeah, no, very good team in LA there. So yeah, I mean, not else to say Justin Herbert pulled something out of his butt on Thursday night last week. So yeah, good job. Good job, LA. Next I got the LA Rams, who are up there in division tier. Not the prettiest of wins against the New York Jets, but still a very solid win, as we like to say. So yeah, not too terrible there for LA. They have a pretty commanding lead in the division. They basically kind of just need to take care of Arizona this Sunday to kind of just have a stranglehold on that division. So, yeah, good job, LA, playing some solid football there. The Raiders messed up their tank badly. They went from, I think, having the 1st overall pick to now the 6th overall pick in a draft where there's not really many quarterback prospects, and they need a quarterback by winning against Jacksonville. I mean, you can't fault the players because they're out there to win. They're out there for jobs and everything. And Brock Bowers, absolute stud of a pick. Going to break the rookie receptions record. Going to break Mike Ditka's tight end rookie receiving yards record. Overall, just really, really impressive first-round pick for them. Rest of the team, not so much. But, yeah, bad. Definitely bad. Miami. I'm going to put down here in meh. I mean, they're just not that impressive. Granted, they did beat the San Francisco 49ers, who are an injured team, but overall, it's just the Dolphins I don't see making the playoffs. They're technically still alive, just like the Colts. I'm just going to move the Colts down here with them because I think there's a difference between Cincinnati and these two teams. But technically still alive. Don't think they're going to make the playoffs. If Tua didn't get hurt, that might be a different story. But yeah, Miami, definitely in that tier. In the Super Bowl contending tier, Minnesota. I mean, they did have a squeaky victory against the Seattle Seahawks where they needed a couple of defensive stops to get that game done. But hey, they're very, very impressive right now. 13-2, heading into a very, very important matchup against Green Bay in Minnesota. It is going to be a very close matchup. This is going to determine if they still have a chance to win the division and the number 1 seed if they're able to beat the Packers, which this team is definitely capable of. I've been wrong about them. I thought that they would collapse by now. I thought Sam Darnold would not be playing this good. I thought he would get worse as the season has gone on, but instead he's just gotten better. Like, this is not the Sam Darnold we've seen in the past. Like, he is legitimately good, and overall, just Minnesota's been very impressive this year, and I hate saying that, but Minnesota up there in Super Bowl tier. Next up, we have the New England Patriots, who showed a lot of fight against Buffalo. I mean, we definitely know for a fact that they got probably the second best quarterback in the draft. The only reason why he's probably not viewed as highly as Jaden Daniels is because he has no weapons around him, no offensive line. But Drake May, very, very, very impressive quarterbacking this year. So, yeah, I can't say too much more about the Patriots because they have a lack of talent. But they know they got their guy. And I think Drake May, next year is going to show a lot of people that he is legit. So, yeah, Patriots are bad, but they got some hope. What team doesn't have hope is the New Orleans Saints because they got absolutely smacked by the Packers on Monday Night Football. Yes, I know everyone was injured, but still, they're an NFL team. To be dominated that bad, 34-0, the first shutout of the year. Yeah, this team needs to completely reset this organization, get rid of all this money. They have been kicking the can down the road, and payment is due. So, yeah, Saints are bad. They're just terrible. Giants, we know the story. They're bad. Nothing else to say. They lost to Michael Penix Jr. in his first career start. So, yeah, they're bad. Jets, around here, I mean, they couldn't do anything against the Rams. They scored a couple of field goals, and that was it. Gotta wonder, this whole Aaron Rodgers experiment was an abject failure for the Jets. I really did not see this coming down this bad. I thought they'd be more of a 500 team and miss the playoffs. But, man, it's been awful for the Jets. So, be interesting to see what they do with Rodgers and what they do with Devontae Adams and the rest of this team. Do they just completely blow it up, or do they just keep it chugging? I don't know, but yeah, definitely down there in bad. Philadelphia going to drop a couple spots this week. Had them number 1 last week. Close loss to the Commanders there. Granted, Jalen Hurts was out for the majority of that game. One of my friends in one of my fantasy leagues was not happy about that because he lost by 0.1 points to lose his opportunity to make it to the finals because Hurts got hurt. I mean, this team is still very, very good. They're very competitive with Washington, even with Kenny Pickett coming in being a stinker. Saquon Barkley, Offensive Player of the Year by far. Probably be third in MVP voting behind Lamar and Josh Allen. But yeah, no, Philadelphia, very, very good team. The defense is pretty darn good other than that fourth quarter, but not much else to say there. Pittsburgh, I'm still putting them in division tier, even after the absolute spanking they got by Kansas City, because I still believe in this defense. I think this defense is very, very good. And their previous 2 losses, they did not have their best receiver in George Pickens, and I think that could have changed the game against Baltimore as well. But they're definitely teetering on the edge of division to wild card tier. But yeah, other than that, we're good there. But still, kind of concerning how Russ has been playing recently, but still better than we thought was happening for Pittsburgh. Next up, we got Seattle Seahawks. Definitely a wild card tier team. Able to get a win in an ugly game against Chicago last week and barely lost to the Vikings the week before. They still have hope for division. They really just need Arizona to win and them to win out in order to get that division tier, but don't really have a lot of faith in them. This is a team that scored 6 points against the Bears, so not much else to say about them. Next up, we got the San Francisco 49ers in meh. I mean, this is just a team that's just broken. It's a broken, injured team, and there's not really much there. This was their last real chance with the score because they got to pay Brock Purdy his offseason. They have to. What else are they going to do? But they got to give up some guys. They signed Brandon Ayuk to that deal. He's been out for injury. Deebo Samuel's probably going to be gone. They got a lot of expensive pieces on the defense. Trent Williams has a deal that they have. So you got to really wonder what's happening there with San Fran and what they're going to do in the offseason. That's going to be big for them. Next, we got Tampa Bay. We'll put them right up here next to Atlanta. I mean, just an absolutely devastating loss against the Cowboys, where they were a fumble away from potentially getting a game-winning field goal, but instead they dropped to Dallas. They dropped to second in their division, and they really need Washington to win this week in order to knock Atlanta down a peg and then to win out. That's just what has to happen. So, yeah, Tampa Bay, I think they're definitely a better team than Atlanta, but they just haven't had the luck that Atlanta has had. So, they're in wild card. Tennessee, I mean, valiant effort against the Colts, trying to come back, trying to get out too early, but just they don't have the talent. They really need to find a quarterback this offseason because Will Levis clearly ain't it. And Mason Rudolph is trying his best, but it really is not working there. So, up there and bad. And Washington, moving up here to division. Very impressive victory against the Eagles. Granted, the Eagles' offense is not full strength, but Jaden Daniels legit is him. He has been playing out of his mind this year. I did not expect Washington to be this good at all. I was completely wrong about them. Wrong about Jaden Daniels, too. I thought he would really struggle this year, especially with what he played in college, where he was just kind of just bowling over guys, reckless with his body. But him as a passer has been absolutely fantastic this year. So, yeah, definitely they are a threat. All these wild card teams in the NFC are a threat because it's going to be Minnesota, most likely Green Bay, and Washington. No division winners wanting to face any of those teams. So that is my tier list this week. In Super Bowl, I got Kansas City, Detroit, Philadelphia, Minnesota, Buffalo, and Baltimore. Division, I have Green Bay, Washington, LA Rams, Pittsburgh. Wild card, I got the LA Chargers, Denver, Houston, Atlanta, Tampa Bay, Seattle, Cincinnati. May I have Indianapolis, Miami, Dallas, Arizona, San Francisco. Bad, I have Carolina, Chicago, New Orleans, Cleveland, New England, New York Jets, Tennessee, Vegas, Jacksonville, and the New York Giants. Thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed the content, remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.